Time for a late night workout. Arm day should be fun. Gotta hydrate.
Could it be because Moses is on the couch and he wanted to rock the boat that way? Is it because his 20-year-old girlfriend that Trisha just ripped into him a week ago is sitting right there next to Moses and everyone's just happy-go-lucky? And Trisha literally says, "How did this story get blown out of proportion, girl? What?"
Playing Daniel Keene, then you're an actual creep in real life. Like you are actually.
I know I shouldn't vape, but
like her, a real life.
we all have our addictions. We turn the AC on.
Just creep, just evil, just nasty. Oh man, that's like hurting this girl in ways that she may not know, but you know. Also, Jesse and all these other people that you've been an absolutely disgusting, vile person to. You are disgusting. You are a liar and a psychopath, and you need serious help. You don't even think for a second that you're trolling or winning or anyone thinks you're relevant.
So she has that much energy for our word apologist, but you keep the same energy because Keemstar on the same exact situation said way worse things, and if you care about Jesse's smiles, she seemed to have been way more offended by what Keemstar said than Gabby of the protecting. You have handled this situation with such poor taste. You're right, you don't know what happened, but you sure felt like you did all these years when you consistently called me a liar, mocked my accusations. Sorry you hated all these R-word cases. By the way, it must be hard on you. And she included a screenshot of
Listening to the end of Frenemies, The Right Opinion on YouTube.
Only has 140 characters. Please don't accuse me
Okay,
of
let's go.
making a joke out of it.
Or I would really like to say, let's go.
Allegations. This is just one
Okay, lightweight, baby, lightweight.
Keemstar's continued history of not believing victims.
In part, he does respond to the narratives espoused throughout the podcast, but we'll try and take a holistic standpoint that this is Keemstar taking advantage of Trisha for his own gain, showing a variety of tweets and clips that seem to imply that Keemstar is enjoying the situation much more than anyone else's. He has supposedly invited Gabby Hanna on the same day they were hosting Trisha and joking about it with FaZe Banks on the podcast.
Keemstar ends the show early so that he can bring, of all people, in the same studio on the same day, Indiana, in the same clothing. This is in the same clothing. Keemstar's now wearing his trademark jorts, because I think he took a swim.
Whoa, that's heavy.
Yeah, Banks
Heavyweight,
is in the
baby.
Keemstar just got jorts on. Legend. Here now, again, she's a free speech advocate all of a sudden, and she believes in talking to anyone about anything, right? So here they're kind of teasing her a little bit. They're kind of making a fool out of her. Listen to this.
He was here.
I thought you were going to go.
Listen. Imagine if Gabby was here and we posted a picture. FaZe Banks, Keemstar, Trisha, Gabby.
I bolts.
She's there. Gabby's there. Or at least she's on her way there. So Keemstar's being like, well, can you imagine if Gabby was here?
He's touching the water.
I'd bolt.
Interesting. Good break. I wouldn't do that.
She's the only person.
On the whole, though, this video is designed to be the final nail in the coffin for Ethan and Trisha's working relationship, and dare I say it, friendship. Ethan goes on to discuss the unaired episode that Trisha had been bringing up over the last month. It explains that the reason it wasn't released was because he didn't feel like it gave anyone the closure Trisha claims it did. It was actually quite an uncomfortable recording, which he rather regrets. He also notes that Trisha claims to have recorded the episode and has been alluding to it in the DMs, saying that he is not faced with the information that they may release it.
How everything had gone down. I was feeling bad about the rift that it had caused in the family and everything, and to make amends. And in my heart, I thought, what would be great is if we could just come together for one final episode, for it to be wholesome, for it to be just a beautiful experience, where we just reflect on the nice experience we have and part ways amicably. As soon as we sat down, basically almost immediately, it just went sideways. It just went off the rails. It just turned into allegations, and it just got really icky. And I was like immediately regretting it because it was just not at all what I wanted or expected. This whole claim that like I had never apologized to her, she keeps saying like he apologized. I proved that I never said I wanted to fire the crew. I admitted in my first video about Trisha leaving Frenemies that I messed up in showing the crew the tag secretly recorded us, which was like kind of devastating to me. That they came into the house, secretly recorded our conversations before the broadcast and during. The thing is, I don't care if they release it, so it's not like a threat. I think I don't know why they think it's such a big deal. It's just a messy episode. I guess in their mind, they
God
think
damn.
they're threatening us with like,
It's that fucking Jupiter wave.
Here it is. We're gonna release it. I'm listening to it back. It's like I just found that like such a violation to come into our house and secretly record us. I was like, wow.
This may not be closure per se, but it is the closest that people were going to have. Two contrasting yet affirmative perspectives. From this, people can draw their own conclusions. However, beyond the basic allegations of hypocrisy, there was a more troubling allegation. Hypocrisy is when you say something in the moment and contradict that at a later time. And although it can be problematic, it's not particularly exceptional, especially in this industry, particularly as you often can't decipher intent. However, Ethan once more chose to go in on Trisha, accusing them of lying over a variety of issues related to the podcast, including statements they had made since.
Here's a great one. There's this TikTok account, Contradictions of Trisha. Whoever's operating is on another level. Watch this. They made a great summary of the situation.
I need some more naked time.
He didn't show me something. I'm not gonna say what it was. I'm gonna let this on hold. But he didn't show me something. He said I would never do that to you. Like show me something that could have happened that didn't. Do you know what I'm talking about? When I showed me that thing, he was like, oh, maybe you don't know, but he showed me something that like sort of like devastated me, that really hurt me. I would never do that to you. Not gonna lie, I almost texted him just now. Anyways, it is not a lot that like he didn't. It would have been just like an attack. But it's really devastated.
Oh my god. They're actually because
He also gave some attention to accounts that seemed dedicated to showing these rather conscious contradictions, particularly those on TikTok. He seems quite amused by most of these clips, and although you can understand why they would have irked him, often after the collapse of a working relationship, you are prone to trash talk your former colleague a little. So these aren't exactly surprising. However, there is one clip that he seems to take slightly more seriously, relating to an anecdote that Trisha shared while the podcast was still operating fairly smoothly.
dude, I'm over it. I'm just totally over it. But here's something I saw that actually really disturbed me.
Hey, my life.
My dog was because of David and Jason. They just surprised me with it for a vlog and made me keep it, even though I never asked for a dog. And yes, we did talk about this. My mom was like, oh my god, you just surprised me with a puppy. I had been wanting a puppy for a really long time. We talked about it for a while. I wanted a Pomeranian, and that
Just to be clear, we did talk about this, and maybe get the dog too. Which is not really
I've always said I wanted a Pomeranian, but mom was over a team effort with this. I wanted a Pomeranian for a long time. Both me and my mom have wanted a puppy for so long. I live alone.
That's the color you wanted too, right?
Yeah, he's
It's time to lighten the way a little bit.
perfect. Everyone who meets him falls in love with him.
Just a little bit. Take off 5 pounds, make it 15.
We honestly want more. We just love this little guy so much. We just love him so much. And hopefully that will show here. And we want 2 more. We want a little black one and possibly a white one. I never asked for a dog. I said, oh, look at a dog. You're my dog today. I never asked for a dog. I said, my dog was because of David and Jason. They just surprised me with it for a vlog.
Dude, it's so disturbing to me how she's openly lying.
In this clip, Trisha's prior behaviour appears to directly refute all available testimony that they articulated on Frenemies, leaving Ethan rather bemused and even concerned as to Trisha's capability to expound mistruths.
So disturbing to me how she's openly lying. She really convinced me of this dog lie, and she really successfully assassinated their character. Now, I mean,
Got
this
deep swim express
specifically
next.
has me questioning everything. And I can't help but wonder if I've just been a useful idiot to her this whole time. At the essay allegation about Dom, like all that stuff that was made publicly separate of her is like, 100% believable. But like this dog thing, like I just feel like I've been the useful idiot to her the whole time to smear these people that she hates, because this is a flat out horrific lie.
situation. Trisha's appearance on Mum's Basement didn't really change the narrative too much. We knew what each party would probably say. We know where these people seemed to at least prompt a brief reassessment of the podcast by Ethan, and this reassessment
Fly away, baby.
more questions in the coming month. Trisha's commented on countless issues and shared many anecdotes in extensive detail, often more detail than a majority of people would be expected. Some of these were related to YouTube dramas like the David Dobrik saga. There were also a lot of personal stories which they opened up about. As a person with their own trauma, they would share some of these stories to an often very sympathetic audience. One of the stories that was particularly harrowing was about a teacher who had violated experience, unfortunately, a lot more common than we'd like it to be. But at the time, it was a very powerful moment on the podcast, and they had a set of people surrounding them who were ready to support. However, with some questions beginning to arise about Trisha's accuracy in delivering information, a new light was shone onto some of these allegations.
Also, the Trisha only available that you make from the exorcism. I'm ready.
September 2021 was a rough month. Trisha's decision to appear on Mum's Basement had already put a further strain on the family relationship, underburdened from numerous incidents, some of which were documented on the H3 podcast.
What you texted Moses is the most evil thing to ever put out into the universe. If I'm a weasel, you are Satan.
Oh.
Let's go.
My goodness, she thinks I cast a spell on her, too.
She said you are Satan for even putting that energy out there.
God damn it, I just fucking spilled my fucking water everywhere, motherfucker.
To put that burden on me the way you did is the worst karma.
This had continuously manifested with other family members involving themselves, one of them being Moses Akron, the individual who served as the keystone in the connection between the client and Peters. He had recently become more vocal in his participation after certain claims were made about his conduct, defending himself while also criticizing Ethan for his behavior. As both parties stewed in the fallout of the latest strife, questions being raised about the story that Trisha had told on episode 17, the violation story.
Not funny, but like my 6th grade teacher, yeah, I talked about on TikTok, the one that he would play like heads down, and he'd come around and like grab my breast and like put his hands on me. He did get arrested. His name was Mr.
You or because of other
So
incidents?
someone else came forward. I never did,
Gross.
but he had on his computer in the school. But that guy did. He did get arrested, and I don't know where he is now, but he did.
One of the details Trisha had divulged during this anecdote was that this teacher was eventually arrested on charges of CP. However, with some digging, certain people began to uncover information that disputed this claim. As a matter of fact, it was discovered that the teacher mentioned had retired from his role, passing on from this world in 2019. Along with other supposed inconsistencies, this was covered in a 1.5-hour video uploaded by creator called Mysterious.
Then the 4th time she mentions the same story is on TikTok on March
Fuck
19,
my life.
2021. This time Trisha encourages her followers to search the teacher and look up his arrest. So Trisha specifically says that this teacher has been arrested. It seems legit, right? Surely if Trisha is encouraging their audience to look this up, it would pop right up when you search it. That isn't the case at all. In fact, when you Google exactly what Trisha says, this teacher does pop up at the top results, but it isn't because he was arrested. It was because he passed away in 2019, and his obituary pops up when you Google what she says.
This observation began to garner traction in forums and comment sections, with some calling on Ethan to amend the story with mind to information available. And on the 11th of September, he released a statement. This echoed much of what the concerned parties at the time were professing, that although it was not necessary,
Sorry, but I don't have TikTok. I can't watch it.
necessarily his place to discredit a survivor story, he also couldn't keep that story up in good faith, knowing that elements of it simply weren't true. That's completely fair to acknowledge that given how trauma affects memory and recall certain events, it's possible that Tricia may have confused the details and names related to these accounts. However, with the previous contradictions in mind, it obviously occurred to Ethan that maybe there was the possibility that this version of events had been somewhat fabricated. And in that case, especially when dealing with criminal allegations, it's fair to err on the side of caution. Ethan had also privately with Tricia seeking clarification of these claims, with many audience members also publicly stating their desire for this to be addressed. How did they respond to this inquiry? Well, Tricia first found a deluge of tweets defending Dylan Moses from those who they felt were applying pressure, and feeling threatened by Ethan's tone, the DMs decided to share the messages themselves, and let people decide on who was behaving with the most decorum. And honestly, it's a dumpster fire, with everyone throwing blame against Tricia. Ethan compels Tricia to make a public statement, and Tricia shares many posts that they believe were contributing to unnecessary harassment. Both Tricia and Ethan seem to use this abused individual's family in their narrative. Ethan in his post and Tricia in the messages. It's hard to know what the family themselves want, but I'm not sure this is it. In the end, they become secondary to further allegations leveled towards Tricia's fiancé, Moses, which have been circulating recently as well. These allegations include stealthing, which, as I understand it, is the removal of the contraceptive device during sex, without the consent of the partner. Allegations also resurfaced surrounding Moses' intent to date Tricia in the first place, with some still wondering if he was just there for the money. He responded to some of these claims in a tweet longer where he asserts that the main complainant had an unhealthy obsession with him, which has subsequently warped their view, sharing DMs to supposedly substantiate this. It brings one person's motive into question, but it doesn't disprove the claim themselves, especially the ones made by others. With that said, it's hard to comment further when you don't know these people involved, and I honestly don't. However, in the DMs, Ethan expresses belief in the person leveling these accusations, and seems to imply that Tricia is being rather hypocritical in their stance. They express visible distress at the situation.
I'm bleeding. I trusted him. I'm
Is he clearly having a negative impact? Well, he's announcing that he and Ela would be taking a week off the podcast in light of everything. The stress just not too much for them to bear. At this point, although I think everyone was exhausted, people were by no means appeased, and remnants of the few persisted over the following weeks, with a variety of people and media sources contributing their think pieces. Much of this occurred on fan forums, but one person shared a message from someone who claimed to be a former student at Tricia's school. They attested that although the teacher in question had been dismissed from their role for possibly disreputable behaviour, it was related to his conduct towards the students specifically. Once again, this wasn't verified. To be honest, it's quite hard to verify without people revealing private details, which most people aren't. But it was more food for thought. In response to Ethan's request and pressure from the public sphere, Tricia responded on the 15th of September with a video titled Addressing Everything. I'm not going to go over the details specifically, but Tricia maintains their stories and in response to the new form narrative of their supposed lying, contends that knowingly lying is not the same as misspeaking, which is what they feel they did. They say they don't fact check and have a tendency to spew second-hand information without actually understanding it themselves. They take responsibility for that, but they don't agree with the characterizations presented by many of their critics, especially those in the forums.
There's a difference between misspeaking, hearing things and not getting all fact-checking, and also versus sharing something you know is not true for the emotion of tricking someone or stories mixed up. I hear things from people and I don't fact check, and that was ultimately why I should never have had a podcast. I should never have been. Frenemies, but I'm not the only person in the world to do that. Having said that, I have never lied about any things that have happened to me.
The truth is difficult sometimes.
Well, wait, baby.
Sometimes we have to accept that we'll never know the truth fully. What you ultimately had was two very vehement factions, and when that arises, it can be difficult to deal with. It was certainly fostered in environments like Reddit, where fans of one side tended to convene. I think it's completely fair to say that because someone misplaced details, the whole story is false. But at the same time, Trisha's response still didn't placate the criticism relating to stories where there was contradictory
Always,
evidence.
baby, always.
In a way, no two situations are the same, and they shouldn't be treated as such, even if someone is an unreliable narrator. But when the accusations at hand were becoming so sensitive, the tensions were only flaring further. As Trisha said while defending Moses, people can lie, and the question was whether that person was Trisha. In the week after that video, Trisha removed over 1,000 videos from their channel, cleansing approximately 1 billion views of their work. And the week after, Ethan announced the start of their new collaborative project with the less controversial Hassan Piker. Less controversial.
You said America deserved 9/11. Did you mean that? No, obviously not.
With the family connection also firmly intact, as it would be fair to assume that this would end the drama, especially with Ethan seemingly making a commitment to withdraw from discussing Trisha, and Trisha seemingly wanting the drama to be over. However, a lot of internet criticism persisted, particularly the two sides who wanted to portray the sides are dishonest, because what we saw was a stalemate, which meant fans felt completely free to make assumptions about the characters of people they were criticising. After being referenced in Ethan's stream, accounts dedicated to publicising alleged inconsistencies such as contradictions of Trish on TikTok began to pick up traction, only further creating groundswell around these narratives. The account raises interesting points, though at the same time, some of these clips are a decade apart and are considerate of the fact that people's perspectives change. But we'll come to that in a moment. Besides that, there were still occasional allusions to each other's existence. On Trisha's upcoming marriage to Moses, it was hard to keep them both out of mind too much, particularly when such an event would usually bring the family together.
Well, my friends, happy birthday to Hilda. Hilda is pregnant, who is beautiful, who is everything. You are the everything. I love you so much, and I'm so excited to spend the weekend with you.
On 7th the 10th, and in stream the day before Trish.
I probably shouldn't be doing these at midnight.
Trish's wedding, Ethan made a comment in passing that tomorrow was Hila's birthday, which would have been the 11th. However, Hila's birthday is actually on the 12th. This caused some of Trisha's fandom to claim that Ethan and Hila were lying about their birthday to purposely draw more hate towards Trisha. Some other fans had also been claiming that Trisha was purposely mimicking impactful dates of the clients in a continued attempt to provoke them.
Thank you, everybody. Hope you all have a great weekend. New leftovers on Sunday.
Going over the stream, it seems that Ethan may be celebrating Hila's birthday on Saturday, as he declares that he's reporting another episode of Leftovers, the one with Hanson and Piker, on the Sunday. It'd be one hell of a way to try and rile his fans up, though as shown, many audience members' perspectives were so cynical that they couldn't help but theorise if every comment had an underlying meaning. It's unsure whether either
Okay, I think I'm only almost halfway.
but this all seemed to boil over when Trisha posted a rather tone-deaf TikTok only a few days after the wedding.
Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the chorus.
I mean, tone-deaf is... September 2021 was a rough month. Trisha's decision to appear on Mum's Basement had already put a further...
Weasel, you are Satan.
Oh my goodness, she thinks I cast a spell on her too.
She said you are Satan for even putting that energy out there. You're an evil woman to write down what you wrote. It's unspeakable. To put that burden on me the way you did is the worst karma.
This had continuously manifested with other family members involving themselves, one of them being Moses Ackman, the individual who served as the keystone of the connection between the client and Paytas. He had recently become more vocal in his participation after certain claims were made about his conduct, defending himself while also criticising Ethan for his behaviour. As both parties stewed in the fallout of the latest strife, questions were being raised about the story that Trisha had told on episode 17, the violation story.
Not funny, but like my 6th grade teacher, yeah, I talked about it on TikTok, the one that he would play like heads down, and he'd come around and like grab my breast and like put his hands on me. He did get arrested. His name was Mr.
You or because of other
So
incidents?
someone else came for it. I never did.
Gross.
But he had on his computer in the school. But that guy did. He did get arrested, and I don't know where he is now, but he did.
One of the details Trisha divulged during this anecdote was that this teacher was eventually arrested on charges of CP. However, with some digging, certain people began to uncover information that disputed this claim. As a matter of fact, it was discovered that the teacher mentioned had retired.
Like a lot of people, the COVID 20 got home. 320 was the highest I ever hit while breathing.
Oh, wait,
If
baby.
the contradictions of Trish's TikTok account and other commentators highlighted something, it's that Trisha is probably the most inconsistent person online. Now, I divide these inconsistencies into 3 components: personal evolution, small talk disparities, and inexplicable lies. For example,
People asking about nanny and a bar mitzvah, it's hard to say. It's like hard to say until it happens. Like I would like to try, obviously, without a nanny. I really don't judge anyone that has them. I'm not a kid, I don't have nannies. That's for damn sure.
What does that mean? You're trying to attack our parental ability? There's something wrong with having a nanny?
In my eyes, yes.
this one isn't really a direct contradiction, especially with the context that at the time they were trying to spite Ethan. It could just be Trisha coming around to the idea of a nanny and the possible merits to it, especially as they are now pregnant. Small talk disparity, on the other hand, doesn't really show much growth between conflicting statements, but also could be explained away by the fact that Trisha is someone who talks a lot, and their opinions seem to fluctuate rather turbulently, but also ultimately too inconsequential to care about. The content people seemed most alarmed by was the inexplicable lies, statements that seemed impossible to make sense of in the context of how the truth appeared.
My dog was because of David and Jason. They just surprised me with it for a vlog and made me keep it, even though I never asked for a dog. And yes, we did talk about this. Everyone was like, oh my god, you can't surprise him with a puppy. I had been wanting a puppy for a really long time. We had talked about it for a while, that I wanted a Pomeranian and that my mom would help me take care of it.
Just to be clear, we did talk about this, and the plan was to give the dog to Trisha's mom, who really wants
Got our protein, baby.
Context by the puppy clip.
You know, I'm the protein, no point in that. I'm working out.
The school teacher could be put down to confusion. Others, like that relating to the puppy, are much harder to explain.
It's a fucking skill.
Trisha said something that was just apparently objectively false, and that's far from the only example. I said earlier that Trisha was most at ease when firing off information and stories about topics that interest them. That was when the podcast ran at its smooth. It was only because it was what made viewers and colleagues feel most comfortable.
I don't even know what this is. Like, I can't even like cosplay because I don't know what it is.
Oh my god, this is one of my all-time favorite movies.
You got it off Reddit and you're like, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, I don't like. This is definitely not my idea.
You told me you didn't like it?
What?
Can we? I love it.
It's confusing and hard to really understand because you're often left thinking, why would you even need to lie about something as trivial as that? But it's very difficult to come to any other conclusion than that this was intentional. But then the question comes down to what motive causes a person to state inaccuracies like Trisha does, not just about one detail of the other, but in general. Well, a simple response would be that Trisha is a troll, and they have been trolling long throughout their YouTube career. On one hand, yes, this is true, Trisha has been a notorious troll since the early days of this platform. But on the other hand, it seemed that trolling was a bit more identifiable, particularly in the narratives and the tone. It was also something that Trisha claimed to have left behind them on a fair few occasions when discussing it.
So when people said no, then I did troll and make a video where I started going into altars if that's what people wanted to see. But it was clearly a troll. People were upset that I had
I thought since I was working out at home, I could wear whatever I want and not be judged. Guess I was wrong. I just feel bad for my downstairs neighbors. And those were 15-pound dumbbells, so not really.
upset with that, but that made it triggered for people being like, you don't have this, you don't have this. Meanwhile, everyone's saying, you're crazy, you have this, you have everyone diagnosing me. It's like, well,
when you make a video like that or the transmitter or whatever, you get a lot of attention. You're an attention seeker, but you usually get a lot of negative attention. Do you see a difference between negative and positive attention?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like my trans video and my DID video were never to be negative. They were never to get negative attention. And I got my last one where I willingly seeked out negative attention was like when Trump ran the first time. I was like, hey, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not. And I loved getting negative attention back then. That was when 4 years ago. So it was like, I haven't done a negative attention seeking video since.
This was not just a relationship that enabled Trisha to post a few videos. This was a fully fledged business partnership that generated significant income for our prima donna. It precipitated a romantic bond that produced a marriage and a pregnancy. For all that to be a troll would require some mastermind level preparation and emotional robustness that even Trisha, in all their longevity and fortitude, may not be capable of. What's the alternative explanation then? Well, I think the idea of Trisha being a troll is reductionist. A troll is known to actively carry out undesirable actions for attention. And although Trisha has done that, they're not just a mother of negative attention. Trisha has a way of inserting themselves into stories that makes them relevant to the situation at hand. I think if any of the perceived contradictions highlight a common factor, these are often situations where the people who Trisha may be
My shoulder's starting to hurt, so I may have to cut this workout short.
These lies, either because they're embroidered in drum that contains valid criticisms, so they struggle to respond in general, or they literally can't respond. Trisha's stories always seem to be rooted in some grain of truth, but it's hard to know exactly what followed.
I didn't want to tweet because I actually knew him, and I'm not saying like, oh my god, we were like best friends, but I hung out with him at least a dozen times when I was younger, like 19 to 20. And I won't really say how we knew each other. Our relationship just out of kind of respect for him or his family. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I need to air out dirty laundry or any drama.
One of the purest stories Trisha told back in the day.
Yeah, my shoulder's starting to hurt, so I may have to stop it early.
Passed on from this world far too soon.
See how many more workouts I get.
They worked as a courtesan, their paths had crossed. This story was recounted on their channel not too long after Robert's passing and repeated on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to stop it early. I still had about 3 more sets, but really don't want to risk injuring myself. It's not worth it. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. If I showed you some at home next time I do arms, hopefully I'll be feeling good enough to finish it off. I'm not looking very good. Thanks for tuning in and have a good workout.